Let's dive into it. Matt LaFleur, okay, like I said, wanted to hit this earlier, didn't have time. We threw this up on the Patreon, just going around the league, around Twitter, and seeing what the latest rumors are here, okay? Albert Breer put a tweet out earlier this morning, and they said the Packers have been steadfast in Matt LaFleur's corner. But the question now will be, at what price? Are they willing to go, say, $15 million a year on extension? If not, if Atlanta with Matt Ryan or Miami with John Eric Sullivan calls, would new President Ed Policy listen? I think he's kind of talking about maybe a potential trade there. This is a scenario I didn't even think about. And you guys know, I've been vocal here. I want Matt LaFleur as the head coach in Green Bay. You disagree with that? That's cool. We can agree to disagree. And I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. However, didn't even think about potentially trading Matt LaFleur for a draft pick. That's an interesting take there, if that's what he's alluding to here. Now, obviously, he's talking about Matt Ryan is helping take over in the front office in Atlanta. Obviously, Matt Ryan and Matt LaFleur have strong ties. Matt LaFleur was his quarterback coach when Matt Ryan won his only MVP award in the league that year, that they had an awesome season, and they ended up losing in the Super Bowl, right, to the Patriots, the big comeback win there for the Pats. So there's a little bit of ties there. Obviously, John Eric Sullivan, if he goes to Miami and Green Bay can't come to an agreement with Matt LaFleur on the money, on the dollars and the cents, maybe they go after Matt LaFleur. Maybe they trade a draft pick for Matt LaFleur. Maybe they'd be willing to do that. So let us know in the comments, what do you think about that scenario? Really, really interesting to see how all that may shake out as well. So, next tweet here. I thought that was really interesting, by the way. So Adam Schefter tweets out, former Packers president Bob Harlan is royalty in Green Bay. We all know this, right? Bob Harlan is like, man, he is he's such a vital part or reason that the Packers were able to do that huge Lambeau Field expansion. And really everything that you see that the Green Bay Packers are today in terms of the strength and stability of the business aspect of the Green Bay Packers, Bob Harlan, I mean, I don't want to say he gets 100% credit, but he gets the large majority of credit for it. He's the one who put in motion this whole idea of refurbishing Lambeau Field, making it a year-round destination, right? That's about the time I became a Packer fan. I just kind of assumed this is how it always was in Green Bay. And then as I got to digging into the history of it, I realized, no, the atrium wasn't always here. You kidding me? This used to just be a big metal can sitting up in the middle of what used to be farmland and now a neighborhood, right? And Bob Harlan had this idea, this vision that, hey, Packer fans are so passionate about football and their Green Bay Packers that they would travel year-round to come to Green Bay, Wisconsin, visit Lambeau Field, tour the stadium, eat in a nice restaurant inside the stadium, stay in a hotel close by, right? All the things that they trick me into spending my money on every year, which I absolutely love doing. So that's who Bob Harlan is, right? Royalty in Green Bay. Adam Schefter says his son Brian is an agent who represents John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh has deep Midwestern roots and ties. If the Packers decide they want to change head coaches, Harbaugh would be the most logical replacement. Now, anytime this happens, you have to ask yourself, where is this information coming from? Okay, let's break all that down. He specifically mentions Bob Harlan's son, who is John Harbaugh's agent, right? Well, Adam Schefter does not work for the league, right? We talk about Ian Rappaport working directly for the league. He kind of works in conjunction with the teams, therefore the owners, breaking news kind of coming out of the building. They get some information from agents as well. This obviously came from John Harbaugh's agent, okay? So with that being said, is this a legit shot here, right? Is it a legit shot that they go with John Harbaugh over Matt LaFleur? I'm going to be very clear. I do not want John Harbaugh as my head coach over Matt LaFleur. If Matt LaFleur decided he was going to retire today and John Harbaugh was one of the choices, yes, I would consider it. But there's a reason Baltimore let him go. And the people that say, well, he's won a Super Bowl. He won that Super Bowl in 2012. So, and we'll get into all that, okay? Again, if you don't like how many games Matt's won, you're not going to like John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is like 36th all-time in winning percentage. Matt LaFleur is 16th. So if you're okay with dropping that far in the right, here's the other thing too. Two-time MVP, Lamar Jackson, right? He had him for however many years now. That hasn't gotten him over the hump. So, it just seems kind of weird for me anyway, to kind of judge John Harbaugh on a whole different scale than what you're judging Matt LaFleur, right? And we'll talk about it a little bit deeper. But again, I thought that was really interesting. And this was on this video I'm going to show here, or play the audio for you guys. And guys, this was on NFL Countdown earlier today. And let's just go ahead and hit this real quick. Let me see. I guess we'll throw that up there. Hey, our boy, Stephen A. Smith is with ESPN, so maybe that'd be close enough here. But here's an audio from NFL Countdown earlier today. This was Adam Schefter talking about the whole situation. Okay, let's see what he had to say. And again, this is the credit for this video, or audio, I should say, goes to ESPN and NFL Countdown. Let's hear the latest.
And that brings us to Adam Schefter for the first time this morning. Schefter, what are we thinking after a heartbreaker for Green Bay?
Well, good morning, gentlemen. The Green Bay Packers and their new president, Ed Policy, have a significant decision to make here in the coming days. And that is whether to extend Matt LaFleur's contract. He's currently got 1 year remaining, or to move on from him. If they moved on from him, he automatically would go near the top of the coaches available and shake up this current head coaching cycle yet again.
Great point. Like, the second that Matt LaFleur would be let go, I'm telling you, he probably becomes the top candidate available right now. Now, you got some younger OCs, like, the OC in Seattle, right? He's a hot commodity. You've got Durd, the defensive coordinator, right? There were several different coaches. I can't think of them right offhand, but you got some young coordinators that haven't ever had a shot at being a head coach that might be the next great thing, right? But Matt LaFleur, I think, will go right to top 3 in candidates, which is hilarious, right? That we're just willing to kind of scrap him. Some of the fans are willing to just scrap him. Let's start over. Let's start fresh. That's the thing too. You blow up this whole 3-year window if you do that, in my opinion. Now, maybe you can get somebody in here with a similar system and catch lightning in the bottle. I seen a hilarious tweet earlier today, cracked me up. They said, everybody loves Matt LaFleur as a coordinator. People have said that, man, he'd make a great coordinator. He's just not head coach material. Why don't we hire his brother, Mike LaFleur, and make Matt LaFleur the OC? I lost it. I was crying because obviously they were being tongue in cheek, right? But really, really interesting dynamic to think about Matt LaFleur being on the market there as a free agent coach. So let's continue.
Notice how he said this belongs to the Packers president, Ed Policy. Well, the Packers' former president back in the day was a man by the name of Bob Harlan. Bob Harlan's son, Brian Harlan, represents Jon Harbaugh. Jon Harbaugh is a Midwestern guy who has a home in the Upper Peninsula. And a lot of people around the league have been wondering, if the Packers decide to go in a different direction, if all of a sudden the Green Bay Packers might vault to the top of Jon Harbaugh's list as the top available choice for him. This has been a wild, crazy.
I cannot stand the way Adam Schefter talks. He most of the time says stuff that you already know, but at the end of the day, it's still relevant. God, it drives me crazy.
Coaching cycle, and we may just be scratching the surface, Greeny.
That's extremely well.
All right, so there you go. There is what Adam Schefter. I just wanted to play the audio so you guys can hear it in his words and not just, as if I'm taking something out of context, right? Again, to me, it seems as if get out of here, Stephen A. It seems as if he's kind of putting it out there for the agent and for Jon Harbaugh that, hey, might be interested in that Green Bay job. Of course you would. Every free agent head coach would be interested in coaching in Green Bay. It's the greatest franchise in the NFL, in my opinion. Got the richest history and tradition. Got the greatest fans on the freaking planet. So it makes a lot of sense. Now, Ryan Schlip, Pack Daddy himself here at Packernet Podcast. If you guys don't know about that, if you're just watching on YouTube and you're going, what is the Packernet Podcast? Scan this QR code in the upper right here. That'll take you to it wherever you get your podcasts. It's a daily podcast he also does Packernet After Dark, where you can actually call in, leave a voicemail, and he'll respond to your voicemail live on the show. So make sure you check that out, Packernet Podcast. Here is the tweet that he put out. If the issue with LaFleur is that he wins in the regular season but can't get it done in the postseason, why in the hell are we talking about Harbaugh? So again, that seems to be the big thing. Yeah, I don't care about regular season wins. He can't win the big one. He can't win the important one. Okay, cool. Ravens with multiple-time MVP Lamar Jackson. So with Lamar Jackson at quarterback and John Harbaugh as the head coach, here are the results. Starting in 2018, 10-6, lost to the Chargers. 14-2, lost to the Titans. 11-5, lost to the Bills. 2021 ended the season 0-6, missed the playoffs. So he lost a 6-game losing streak there at the end of 2021 and missed the playoffs. 10-7, lost to the Bengals. 13-4, lost to the Chiefs. 12-5, lost in the playoffs to the Bills. 8-9, missed the playoffs this year. That's the resume that you're going to blow everything up for. Can't get on board with it, man. Just can't. I can't. He ended his run with Lamar. So with Lamar Jackson at the helm, their playoff record together was 3-6. Sound familiar? And here's the other thing. We don't know what Matt LaFleur can do with a little bit more of a veteran team rather than marching out the youngest roster in the league every single year, right? So with that being said, it's like Harbaugh's done that with a little more of a veteran team. Just worth mentioning there as well. So, all right, moving along. Team rankings. How did the team finish here? And we'll go through these rapid fire, and then we're going to talk a little Jeff Hafley. Let's just focus. Let's focus on the offense here, okay? So on the season 2025, right? Scoring offense ended up finishing 14th. Understand, I do on a per play basis. I don't like per game stats. I think they're so skewed. They can be so manipulated. Per play basis means that's showing how truly efficient you were on offense and defense. All right. Scoring points per play, we finished 14th in the league. Total yardage, meaning yards per play, we finished 10th. Passing game, we finished 5th in passing or yards per pass attempt. And then running the ball, here's the bad one, right? You finished 24th in yards per carry is how you finished that, okay? Giveaways, you finished first in the league in a good way. You had the fewest giveaways per game as an offense. So that is a really, really, really important statistic there at the end. And you're wondering, well, how did we lose so many games, Clayton? Looking on defense, takeaways, we were 23rd. That kind of balances each other out. If you were top 10 in both, you're probably going to win 2 or 3 more games in the regular season, and who knows how it unfolds, right? We know it's probably the most important statistic, although last night's wonky-ass game, it did not matter. But that's a story for a different day. So, again, 14th in scoring, 10th in total yards, 5th in passing, and 24th in run. Now, again, with the run, I don't think it's scheme. I don't think it's play calling. I think that your offensive line can't run block. Now, why is that? When was the last time our offensive line was known as a run-blocking offensive line? Because I remember Aaron Jones running outside stretch plays and cutting all the way back across the field to get a big gain, right? When was the last time we were like, man, our offensive line dominates in the running game? When was the last time that happened? Eddie Lacy? That's the first one that comes to mind for me. You know, Eddie Lacy won Rookie of the Year and kind of was on that 2-year tear before he ate himself out of the league, right? That's another aspect of this. But again, when you look at the numbers here, I feel comfortable saying when you take everything into consideration, this is a top 10 to top 13 offense is how we finished. That's without Elton Jenkins, your starting center. That's without Tucker Kraft, who was leading your team in receiving when he went down. Josh Jacobs was banged up since week, whatever it was, the last 6 weeks of the season, he was banged up. Zach Tom missing significant time down the stretch, including the playoff loss last night. You're missing a lot of players. You know, Christian Watson not coming in until what was the last week of October, first week of November, whenever it was. You lost Jaden Reed from week 2 till whatever it was. It was the second half of the season before you got him back. With all that going on, you still finished kind of what I would say on average somewhere in the 13 mark when you take all 4 of those or 5 of those important metrics into consideration. Actually, I would say you're a top 10 offense is what you are, because the giveaways is absolutely huge, man. So with that being said, that's kind of the breakdown on Matt LaFleur. Let me hit the super chat, and then we'll wrap up and move on to Jeff Hafley. User JU8CH2ST2D with the super. Thank you so much. What about Gruden? Jon Gruden. I think he might potentially be a good head coach again. I think he could probably make it happen. We'd have to look at his record. I don't have those numbers right offhand. If somebody wants to look up his, actually, you know what? I usually don't do this live on the show, but I'm going to do it. Okay. I'm going to go to Pro Football Reference, and let's look at the coach's winning percentage. We talked about Matt LaFleur's winning percentage, right? He's 16th all-time in a regular season, 654. Let's see if we can find our boy. It's maybe tough. Give me just a second. I apologize for this, but I'm eager to know. I think it's a great question. How would we feel about our boy Jon Gruden being the head coach? Man, if he's this far down on the list, it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good at all, bub. Here we go. So Matt LaFleur is 16th all-time in winning percentage, right? Jon Gruden is 100. He's got a 511 winning percentage. Are you okay with going 500? That's essentially what that is. One season you'll go 500, the next season you won't, right? Now, you're probably thinking, well, you've won a Super Bowl, right? Everybody's got that Super Bowl on their mind. Like, we need a coach that knows how to win the Super Bowl. But you go back and watch the way they won that Super Bowl, that offense was not that good, right? And he was calling the plays and the offensive-minded coach. Now, you had the Tampa 2 defense that was really kind of taking off, you know? I don't want to take anything away from Chucky. I like Coach Gruden as a coach. I think he's a great football mind. Would it be exciting at user JU8? Yes, it would be very exciting, right? It would be very interesting to get him back in Green Bay, but he definitely loves Green Bay. If you watch his show and any of his breakdowns, anytime he's got a chance to talk about the Packers, you can tell he loves the city, he loves the franchise, he loves the history. But, yeah, for me, it's going to be a no. If you're asking me, would I take Gruden over LaFleur? Absolutely not. But appreciate the super chat there, man. Let us know in the chat what you guys think about that question. Also, if you're watching this video back later, let us know in the comments, how do you feel about Matt LaFleur's future? Would you fire him? You want to keep him around? Do you want to say, no, I don't want to extend him? Let's make him play this year out. And you kind of put everything on shaky ground with the other coaches potentially leaving, knowing, man, he's really on the hot seat. And we might potentially have to pack up and go somewhere that we don't want to go next year if the opportunities are maybe a little more scarce. But let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Now, let's switch gears and let's